Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you that listened to our shows over the last 2-3 weeks. Unfortunately, we've been running some reruns because I decided to have knee replacement surgery. And what an adventure that has been. I'm not fond of it, quite frankly. Some of you have had it and you're like real troopers and you're doing really, really well, but I'm starting to think I'm not that brave. But anyway, I appreciate all of you that continue to support this show and be involved with our organization while I took a little time off. Today, I want to tackle a subject that we hear about, but we don't hear a bunch of solutions about. And it's concerning to me. And so I kind of wanted to tackle that with you because most of you that listen to this show, many of you I know, and you are problem solvers. You want to find out the problem and how to fix it and then help other people fix problems. But this problem is an enormous problem, and we're just getting started. So what I want to talk about are senior citizen scams, financial scams that really approach senior citizens. Now, this show is brought to you by an organization called Million Kids. Actually, it's millionkids.org if you want to sign up for our newsletter. And most of our work is towards helping teenagers and families so that they don't get caught up in forced prostitution, known as human trafficking, or they don't get caught up in blackmail, sextortion, online scams, and like that. But in the course of doing all this research, one of the things that has really kind of caught my attention is just how big the industry has grown when it comes to exploiting senior citizens. Now, some of that is that we got grandmas and grandpas online everywhere you go. And I love that, by the way. I know quite a few people that are older and they're online. It is a bit scary, but because they're so darn vulnerable. They're gullible on there. They're from the generation that believed everything they saw. And in the old days, you could believe what you saw. But today, with artificial intelligence, you can believe less and less of anything you see. And it all looks really, really good by the time that artificial intelligence gets a hold of it and rewrites it, or, you have some organization out there telling you what you just heard on the news. That's my favorite pet peeve, by the way. You hear the news and they come on and they want to tell you what you heard. Like you're not smart enough to figure that thing out yourself. They're going to tell you what they want you to think you heard. And so it is an interesting time in our society for older people and all of this technology. There are many, many factors in that. Now, financial exploitation of senior citizens has been going on for a very long time, but it's becoming extremely sophisticated because of technology. I was looking at the FBI website, and I'm kind of surprised at how far behind the Department of Justice is on their website for this. They talk about the various kinds of scams that senior citizens are caught up in, and they are interesting to look at, and they're all very accurate. But the things that are soaring today are online scams, and that is because more and more people are online. Many of you know I wrote a book called Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. And it talks about the impact of crime on crime and crime solving based on technology. But I want you to think about what has happened just in the last 24 months related to technology. You're no longer just talking to a few friends on Facebook that you know, and you share what's happening to you and like that. No, your whole life is now out there online. One of the things I often suggest is that when you go into Google Images and look up your home, one of the first things you do is contact them and ask them to blur out the image of your home, because so much information is available to people halfway around the world that you have never met that may want to gather that information and put it together and begin to blackmail you or seduce you into sending money. Well, while the entire world connected by internet, so did cartels and bad people all over the world that want to get American money, whether that's American money from teenagers or American money from grandmas and grandpas. They don't really care. Now, one of the things I want to bring to your attention is that not everyone that's doing this is doing this willingly. It is its own kind of labor trafficking. So, one of the things that we have learned is that many of these countries have cartels, and they have people who are willingly opening up these large scale centers of where they can reach you. It used to be telemarketing centers, but they can reach you by all kinds of communication devices, whether it's on your senior citizen video game that you play. I like free cells, so that gives you an idea. It can be reaching you through a dating site. It can be reaching you through a recipe site, any way that they can reach you. And so they will form large scale rings in places like Nigeria and Cambodia is another one, and Philippines, Pakistan, Albania, these remote places where people need money, and they will recruit in kids a lot. And these people will come onto your life and they're looking for your vulnerability. And historically, that vulnerability is that you're lonely, or that you're looking to make relationships, or looking just to have fun and to interact out there. And they become a good friend of yours. Now, one of the things we have learned is not all of these people that are doing this are there willingly. I just saw a whole video where they're recruiting people from all over Africa to go into areas like Cambodia and Vietnam, where they're building these large scale centers to literally blackmail and sextort money out of people all over the world. And those people can't necessarily get free. There was one that was selling a timeshare, how to get out of your timeshare, not to get you in a timeshare, how to get you out of a timeshare. And this was down in Mexico. And those young people were all very young people who had good English skills. And they tried to quit. And in that case, they were murdered. So, the people that are doing this and seducing it are not there willingly either, but they cannot get free. All of this is about seducing our people, our older people, our younger people, anybody they can, through any kinds of social media to be able to get a lot of money out of them. So the main types I was looking at and from the Department of Justice, and I was kind of surprised about kind of a little bit of how outdated some of this is, because there are a world full of kinds of scams out there. If they can reach you, they can scam you. And the thing that I would tell you, the number one thing, I don't care how sexy they are, how cute they are, number one, never send any erotic photo online, period, and have that conversation with your children. And number two, if you're talking to someone online that wants any kind of money or any kind of financial interaction, run for your life, because that is exactly how it all starts. experience. Now, I do a whole 4-hour training sometimes on romance scams. I could do a 4-hour training to you, but for romance scams right here on this radio show. I quite frankly hate to do it because it is one of the saddest kinds of crime I have ever met. Historically, what happens is you'll contact someone on a dating site, an online gaming site, some sort of social media, and that person begins to get your curiosity up, maybe begins to earn your trust on there. And once you're in that relationship, you feel like you start to look forward to it. You build a fantasy about you'll start to rearrange your schedule so you can talk to this person, and you'll find yourself falling in love, or at least in a fantasy. And you have a desire to take the relationship further, but one of the first things you'll find out is they have some fabulous reason why you can't meet right now. Oh, you might meet in the future, and they get together and like that, but for right now, you can't meet them. That should be a big hint right there. Run, baby, run. This is Opal Singleton. It is break time, so we're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, let me tell you about my favorite restaurant in Riverside, Monarch Asian Bistro. The atmosphere and decor are simply stunning. The service is great too. It's a wonderful environment for a romantic dinner or a family get-together. It's not just another Chinese restaurant. The Monarch Asian Bistro is upscale, and it serves Thai food as well as unique Asian-inspired dishes that are just fabulous. My favorite is the pad see ew beef. My husband likes the orange chicken, and the Chinese chicken salad is always great. Our friends sometimes order the Emperor's Choice or Monarch steak. It is my favorite go-to place. Go ahead and give it a try. It's Monarch Bistro in Riverside, Canyon Crest Town Center next to Ralph's. They are open for lunch and dinner every day but Tuesday. Go ahead, give it a try. You're going to love it.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of MillionKids.org. I believe the 4 most powerful words on earth are I believe in you. So we created a challenge coin that says, I believe in you on one side and stand tall, you are loved on the other side. This one-of-a-kind challenge coin is a perfect gift for birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, Christmas presents, or just an anytime gift for someone you love. What a powerful message for a parent or a grandparent to give to a young person. This 2-inch coin is made of polished gold. It's striking to look at, and it is priceless to hold. It is packaged in a beautiful black velvet gift box. What a great way to leave a legacy of love that will last forever. To purchase this coin, go to millionkids.org/gallery. Each coin is $25. Go to millionkids.org/gallery to purchase and give a legacy of love.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. And today we are talking about crimes against senior citizens or anyone who is sending money online or getting involved with someone that you met online. So romance scams are just particularly heartbreaking. Historically, they go after widows and widowers. I know, about 5, actually it's been almost 7 to 8 years ago now, I ended up losing my spouse, and I'm in the business, so I know what to watch out for in the business of preventing people being exploited. And I went on a site called Widow and Widowers. Oh my gosh, don't ever Just save it right now. Don't even think about it. 90% on there were not widowers or widows. They were looking for somebody that had a lot of money that they could seduce. And that really opened my eyes. But I want to talk about these romance scams because people get lonely and they go online. And that's exactly, by the way, how it happens with our kids. They're out there looking for somebody to take away the boredom and give them some excitement in their life and make them feel special and make them feel important. And so here you are with a total stranger, and you're able, you found each other and like that. One of the first things I'm going to tell you is if there's somebody out there that is wanting any kind of financial transaction from you, get away from it. Okay. I don't care how hot, how sexy, how legitimate, how much you believe on this. That is a very dangerous situation. Now, sometimes you have imposter scams. That's when somebody contacts you and pretends to be a government agency or a company, and they've got a serious problem with your account, and they suspect that there might be a crime, and they warn you, that they can help you in this if you will work with them, and they'll tell you how to fix the problem. So those are called imposter scams, and they're different than a romance scam. In a romance scam, you think you're going to fall in love. You think this is going to be somebody special. But imposter scams, they come on and they act like somebody they're not. I have rules in my life because I spend so much of my life on social media and doing research. If somebody contacts me and I haven't met them and they want something from me, I never respond to that communication. I will go off site and I will do research on them. I will Google them. I will get the information I can find, but I will never click on that link. That is a great way to get hacked. And so the best thing to do is be able to protect yourself and find out what you can on either another web page or on a phone. If they've reached you on the phone, then on your desktop, and never go in and respond to them. I would do the research first because legitimate companies, especially your banks and like that, will never require you to go online and click their link. Same kind of thing. If I get a DocuSign and I'm not expecting it from that company, do not open it to see what it is you're going to sign. That is a real way to open yourself up for all kinds of fraud that is taking place, but also hacking. Lottery and sweepstakes scams. Oh my gosh. And those online video gaming, not video gaming, the gambling sites, watch out for those. First of all, you can get addicted and lose whatever little amount of money you have in your 401k. Then on top of it, watch out. All those lotteries and sweepstakes are just ways of getting people to open up and share information. Technical support scams. I know some people that got caught up in that, and it's very, very easy to do, especially if you're having a problem with Microsoft, which who on earth doesn't have a problem with Microsoft as part of the real life of living online. But they will come on and tell you that they're going to, they want remote control of your computer. They're going to fix it. And these people are usually out of the Middle East, out of India and that area. And I never turn control of my computer over except to my computer man when I'm seeing him stand here and like that, because it's a great way for you to get scammed. Now, I also want to talk a little bit about some grandparent scams. This is hard to believe that anybody would fall for this, but I know of at least 3 families that have done this. They'll get a hold of the grandmother or the grandparent, sometimes the parent of an adult child, and they say the family member's in trouble. Maybe they're arrested or they're seriously injured, and they need money right now. They will often demand that you keep this phone call a secret. That ought to be a huge red flag for you if you have to keep anything a secret. So one of the things, I knew a lady who actually went down to Target and started buying the things. And they came on and said, your grandson. And she said, is it this guy or that guy? Well, she's giving them the names of her grandson. So they ought to, and she's going, well, they knew everything. And I'm like, yeah, after you ask them, which one is it? Hello. It gives you an idea. Another one is phishing scams, and these are very, very common. What happens, I want you to think about the amount of information out there that is out online about yourself. You have the photographs that you posted here and there or on Facebook or other places. You have Google Earth where your home is located. You have information about your job oftentimes. You may have lots of information about where you live and where you work. And so people can put that all together. And then when they go in and they hack, like Citibank or Bank of America or any of these others, artificial intelligence is a way of gathering up a lot of information and building your profile. And if you have not, I would suggest to you that you go in and Google yourself, Google your children, Google your spouse, and start to find out just how much information is out there that anybody at all can put together a profile on you. And you may want to start to change what is out there, and you may want to start to remove a lot of it. I lately have been considering actually closing out a lot of my credit cards. All of us get way too many credit cards. We don't need the credit, but somebody makes an offer to us to get a free night's stay at a Hilton or some darn thing, And the next thing you know, your wallet is full of these credit cards. Every one of those credit cards is a potential for being scammed, for being exploited. So we are just getting started at this. I was amazed at how big this is getting to be. It is growing amazingly fast. And a lot of it is exactly as I said. You have third world countries now that are making this into a business. And they are doing it day and night. They have all kinds of people that are looking to make money from people in the U.S. that they've never met. And so this is going to become the way of life. We're just getting started. If I have the same show in 2 years, I would guess that the amount of scamming dollars that are being made will have doubled, because you have now poor people that can access the elderly, the parents, the grandparents, the kids late at night with all kinds of stories and all kinds of ways to finagle money out of them. And we have very little understanding about that in our society. On top of it, almost every one of your websites now and your applications that you sign up for have geolocation software. So it's very easy for them to determine information about where you live and, where you work and what that looks like and like that. In fact, one of the sextortion cases I read about recently, I think he was 14 years old, was being blackmailed for a nude that he had sent out. And they knew everything about him. They knew his parents' name. They knew where he lived. They knew what kind of car his parents drove. They knew everything about them, and they used that to threaten this young person that in the end ended up taking his own life. But it's not surprising to see how vulnerable we all are going to be because this information is right there online. They can go right there to Google Images and see what your home looks like. And if you've had it on Zillow and had it for sale, they can see what the inside of your house looks like. You think about being vulnerable, that really will do it to you, because it's important now to understand the vulnerability and how to go in and get that off the website, and so that you can retain some level of privacy. It's break time. I'm going to be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton. It's good to be back. Today we are talking about elder fraud, senior citizens that get defrauded mostly online. And it has just gone through the roof. And it's just a subject that nobody is talking about. And I would really love to get together and train a group of people so that you all can go out and speak on this subject. I do it regularly, but of course I spend most of my time on teenagers and parents and like that. But this needs to be out at all the churches. It needs to be out at all the senior citizens so people know what to look for. I was looking at a report by the FBI. It was dated April 2024, said elder fraud is an expensive crime. Scams targeting individuals aged 60 and older cost over $3.4 billion in loss. That is an 11% increase from last year. Now, keep in mind, because of technology, we're seeing all of these third world countries now have access to technology. All the technology has money transfer capabilities, so it's easy for them to seduce you into sharing your money with them. You never even have to leave home. In the old days, they'd actually send you down to Target to get a gift card and mail it in, but now they can do any kind of transfer online. And on top of it, they have geolocation software. And now they have artificial intelligence that can begin to gather all the data about you and develop a concise profile of who you are and where you live. So no wonder this kind of fraud is up 11%. I'm surprised it isn't double, quite frankly. And I wonder how much of it actually gets reported. It says older Americans seem to be disproportionately impacted by scams and fraud. Over 101,000 victims aged 60 and over reported this to the Department of Justice in 2023. Now, just imagine the number of people that never reported, because you have to know if they didn't lose tens of thousands of dollars, they probably didn't tell anybody because they're embarrassed or ashamed or afraid the family will put them in a home if they find out that you've lost the family fortune. It says on the flip side, victims under age 20 years old seem to be the least impacted. That's because they're more tech savvy. They understand they're growing up in this world. But, older people, all of us, we have tendency to trust people. We take people at their word. We look and we believe what we see, which is real scary during a political campaign. If you believe in any of that stuff out there. Anyway. I don't know about you, but I get so fed up with it. I hear this and I go, that's not true. Absolutely not true. And that person just said that with a straight face. And I'm like, I miss the old days when things were true, and somebody said it and you believed it. Okay. They're saying these tech support scams were the most widely kind of elder fraud in 2018. More than 18,000 victims aged 60 or over reported such scams, and it developed into pitting out a lot of money. So it's kind of an interesting thing when you start to understand. The good news about technology is that we have access to more information than we ever had in our whole lives. We can reach and talk to people that we never could in the past. We can find people that were in our lives, and then poof, one day they're gone, and you can look them up. I just looked up an old friend of mine that had moved away, and I thought, I haven't talked to him in a long time, and then I find out that they had passed. And that kind of information is helpful for us to understand, but it also puts you out there where you're going to interact with millions of people that you never met. So I'm going to give you, there's something online, you may want to look up the site. It's called the Catfish site, Catfish Rules of Engagement, and it's called Social Catfish. You may want to look that up. Here's some rules that I want you to think about and share with grandma and grandpa. Now, they're going to tell you, I already know that, but it may not look like that when it's happening to them, okay? Number one, if it seems too good to be true, they probably are. Now, that's not rocket science. We've all believed that, but I always think I'm going to win the lottery, by the way. I don't know about you, but I buy that lottery ticket, and then I don't want to check the number, because as long as I don't check the number, there's still hope. And, we're all looking for hope, aren't we? And so it's an interesting thing. So number one, if it's too good to be true, it probably is not true. If you meet someone online who has broad interests that could relate to just about anyone, they're probably a catfish. So that is one of the things they do. They start to talk about, they'll talk about the economy or politics or cars or whatever you have indicated an interest in online. And they will begin to develop a profile so that they can mirror your profile. And you go, I found my one and only. This person knows everything about me. We're so much alike. I can't wait to meet them, and on and on and on. And that's exactly what they're doing, is catfishing you. And catfishing means that they are taking advantage of your gullibility, your vulnerability. If they say they care about you and they act like things are getting serious when you've only known them a very short time, you may have met a catfish. I can't tell you the number of times I looked at romance scam cases, and it's like, we hit it off right from the beginning. We had so much in common. I couldn't wait to talk to him. He understood my parenting attitudes, he understood my politics, or we did the same kind of sports and hobbies and like that. And we immediately hit it off. Pay attention to that, because that is a fantasy relationship. A long time ago, I wrote a book, it's still for sale, by the way, called Seduce: The Grooming of America's Teenager. And that's exactly what happens with the teenager in the grooming process. They start right off by sharing a couple of things, their likes, their favorite singer, all of those kinds of things, and you start to build trust. See, the problem with being online is people can pretend to be anybody they want to be, and it's hard for you to verify that. And so what will happen is they get you all excited because you just have so much in common, and he understands me or she understands me, and like that when nobody else does. That is a fantasy. We're looking online to feel good about ourselves. We're looking online for somebody to recognize how valuable we are and how special we are. And that is the grooming process. Whenever this happens with teenagers, I tell parents, have a good conversation with them. Don't wag your finger, but start to ask them, what's this guy look like? Does he have dark hair or light hair? Does he have a SUV or a motorcycle? What's he drive? What did he specialize in school? Where does he work? Can you verify that's where he works? Any proof of that anywhere? Start to get in there, because one of the things that they never deal with is facts. They deal in generalities so that it could be just about anybody that they want it to be. So catfish number 4, if they don't know what Skype is or have problems using and downloading it, you can only chat online. You probably met a catfish. In other words, they're not willing to look you eye to eye in this day of social media. That's a good hint. If they have a job that makes them travel all over the world, this is really, really important so that you do not get in a romance scam. You get where you meet somebody and they're not readily available down the street, then watch out, especially if they want money. They have all kinds of stories of how they're in the military, or they're a contractor, or they're on an oil rig somewhere in the South Pacific, or they may be a contractor or an engineer, and I'm not against engineers, okay? But the point is, one of the big warning signs is they're not available. They have to go out of the area, so you can't meet them. If you recently met them and they ask you for money and give an excuse that you have to send it somewhere else, you've been catfished. And that means you're also been taken, believe me. If they contact you out of nowhere and you don't know them, and then they try and romance you with chat and email, you are being catfished. If their profile is littered with poor grammar that sounds like the person's second language when they say that it's not, they're probably a catfish. I don't want to skip over that, because so many of these overseas situations, they bring in kids that are pretty good with English, but not perfect. And that will give you a hint right there that you might not be dealing with the person that they're representing themselves to be. So what we're talking about today is how senior citizens especially, but every one of us, can be victims of a scam online. This is Opal Singleton. It is break time, so we're going to be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590. The Answer.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
AM 590. The answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. We're talking about how to tell if you're being scammed, especially if you're a senior citizen or you met someone on one of those dating sites or gaming sites. And by the way, these people will often play on adult gaming sites, especially when the senior citizens love, because you chat on there and your guard is down and you begin to trust people and you get excited about meeting somebody halfway around the world. So I'm giving you some rules to let you know if you're being catfished. Now, I'm taking this from a site called Social Catfish. I think they're really quite good, and I highly recommend that you go on and look at it, especially if you have someone in your life that you think is being exploited. By the way, if you do, and I would encourage you to stay close to your senior citizens, talk with them regularly, let them talk with you and share like that, but know where they're at financially. If they are giving out money to other people or they're taking risks online, that needs intercession and it needs a discussion. So catfish number 9, if they contact you out of nowhere and you don't know who they are and they try to romance you, you're being catfished. Number 10, if they look like they could be a model or mildly famous, they most likely are not like that. If the person you met online has stories that seem unattainable or a little far-fetched and you haven't met the person, you're being catfished. And number 12, if you met someone online that seems like something just isn't right and you can't put your finger on it, ask questions. You're probably right. So get yourself out of the area. So I want to give you some ideas on what to do here if you think that this is happening. First of all, watch for all of these signs. If they want to mentor you, they won't FaceTime you. They use guilt to manipulate you, or they use sadness or loss to manipulate you. They have a sudden emergency on there, so pay attention to all of that. They may start acting sexual very quickly. They ask your age and suggest that they might be older. On there, they ask all the questions and you give all the answers. The suggestion that they might be older often is a tactic used to trick in teenagers. They ask all the questions and you're giving all the answers. I share that with teenagers. Why is that so important? Because they're going to know everything about you and you don't know anything about them. That makes you so much more vulnerable. They look just too good to be true. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you think that this is happening to someone, the first thing that I would do is download the photo of the person. Go to Google Images, drag and drop that photo over to Google Images. Or you can go to images.google.com, click the camera icon, and upload the photo of the person. I tell you that because these scammers have hundreds of victims, and they use all kinds of different names and different stories that are out there. So that'll tell you, especially if it's on a dating site, how many other dating sites they're on and how different do they look on that site and whether or not there's some professional on there. Don't give out too much personal information to anybody, especially online. That's very important. And never agree to chat offline. That is the common one that they will use. You meet in a dating site, they go, oh, people are listening, let's talk privately. And you get offline so that you are much more vulnerable to being exploited. Never, ever, ever send sexual photos online or in live streaming. I know this has been going on for years. People do it. You know, it's amazing to me. One of the things you should Google, though, is a thing called nude sites, what was that called? Webcam nudes, I think it's called. There's a Nudify. It came to me. There you go, Nudify. Look, plug in the word Nudify. It will be amazing to you the number of companies that offer software that take a perfectly fine image and take the clothes off and put a body in it. And these are available now out there. So this is the reason why attitudes have to change about what you're putting online and what your child is putting online. Need I say that? Anyway, ask a lot of questions and then do your research. Verify everything. Verify employment. Verify their reputation. If you decide to meet up with them, always do it in a public place and preferably bring someone along. And I would suggest that you do it during the middle of the day. Tell others that you are doing this and who you're doing it with, and give specific details so that they can make sure you're safe. You don't really know anything about those people. Never, ever talk finances with someone that you met online. Never. Okay, that is just out of the question because they're phishing for you. If you find yourself in a fantasy or an addictive relation that you're used to online, I would encourage you to ask a third party to make sure you're making rational choices. Now, the truth is nobody wants to. Nobody wants to tell anybody else because you don't want to find out you didn't win the lottery. Okay, you don't want to find out that this wonderful thing that you're really enjoying is a scam. If you think you're being scammed, stop all communication immediately. And by the way, mom and dad, that's true. If your kid is being sextorted, don't delete the photos. Those, even though they're hard to look at, those are evidence. But stop all communication immediately. Don't go on and go, you blah, 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 leave my kid alone or leave my mom alone. You don't do that. What you do is record everything you can and then stop all communication immediately. Screenshot all the evidence that you can. Find someone that you can trust. If you have someone that's deep in a fantasy and they won't listen, find somebody they can trust and do an intervention. You can literally lose a life savings. And there are literally tens of thousands of older people that have lost their life savings all to finding love online and enjoying every bit of it until the money is gone. And then they find out that who they were talking to is really someone in a Nigerian telemarketing company. If it includes a child, be sure to report it and get counseling for that minor. That's very important. So these people never have one victim. I want to make that very, very clear. This is a growing crime. We are just getting started because as the entire world is connected, more and more third world countries are coming online, and they have access to all of our information. They have access to all of our photos. They have access to our financial profiles that are online, our social profiles, that are home profiles, and like that. I would encourage you to do a Google of yourself and decide what is appropriate to have out there and what is not. And the same way with the rest of your family. And have this discussion with your family. This is very, very important. Think about this. If your kid is 11 or 12 years old and they're online, just imagine how sophisticated this is going to be by the time that kid is 14 or 15. Or if you've got grandma online and she's 75 and she's having a great time talking in her chat room to all these guys that flirt with her, pay attention to that to make sure that that does not develop into some sort of financial relationship. And most important, think about the need for privacy in your life. How can you begin to rein in what is available about you out there, and the sooner the better. That will give you more freedom than ever before, because with all that information out there, it's available to people that you enjoy. That's true. But it also is available to tens of thousands, even millions of people who would like to enjoy your money, and they don't really care anything about you. That is the harsh reality of elder fraud, and that is really, really sad news, but it's not necessary. What I find is if you have these open conversations, nobody wants to be taken advantage of, and we can learn to protect each other. Well, I want to thank you for listening today. I know this is kind of a hard subject and maybe even a little bit negative subject, and with all that's going on in the world, especially with this crazy election, you don't need more of that. But this is something you can do about it, okay? These are ways to take steps to protect yourself and your family so that you can be online in the 21st century and be safe and be able to protect your family. So I hope you have this discussion with your family, with your kids, with your spouse, with your parents and elderly grandparents, okay? And let's look out for each other. Put your arms around your family this week, okay? Let them know how proud you are of them and how much you love them. And I'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.